Muchísimas gracias por esa presentación. And now it is my pleasure to introduce our next speaker, Anne Niyamar. Anne has worked as a senior advisor in the Section for International Cooperation and World Heritage at Riksantikvaren, the Norwegian Directorate for Cultural Heritage. She has degrees in visual communication and museology from Bristol and Norwich in the UK and from Amsterdam in the Netherlands. Anne worked for many years within the field of exhibition design, living in the UK, Ireland, Netherlands, and Singapore, before moving back to Norway and joining the Riksantikvaren in 2009. She is involved in a range of international cooperation and capacity building programs with cultural heritage organizations in partnering countries, and was also a member of the ICROM Council from the period 2015-2019. And the reason why she's also here with us is that since 2010, Anne has been the director of the International Course on Wood Conservation Technology, one of ICROM's longest standing courses on material conservation. So thank you, Anne, for being with us, and you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Valerie, and hello, everyone. I'm so sorry my Spanish isn't good enough for a Spanish presentation, but thank you to the organizers for inviting me here to this seminar. I really appreciate that. My name is Anna Niyamar, and I'm a senior advisor, as Valerie said, at the Norwegian Directorate for Cultural Heritage. In Norwegian, it's called Riksantikvaren, which roughly translates to the state antiquarian. I work in the section for international cooperation and world heritage. And we have many international cooperation projects in the field of cultural heritage and are also close partners with ICROM in different capacity building programs. In this presentation, I'd like to share with you the Norwegian Directorate's experience with the training of craftsmen and our long-standing commitment to international capacity building in the field of wood conservation. Norway's heritage is synonymous with wood. It was and still is the material that people have always had easily available. It has always been relatively cheap and plentiful. Our finest national cultural heritage treasures are made of wood, and several examples of these are also on UNESCO's World Heritage List. You can see two of them in the images here. Une Stave Church, built in 1130 with the famous carved portal, and Bryggen, the wharf in Bergen, with its warehouses and trade buildings. But being a responsible custodian of extensive wooden cultural heritage and maintaining them has its challenges. They demand continuous maintenance and constant vigilance concerning fire. A rapidly changing climate is also an increasing threat. Many of these buildings have survived because of a cold, dry climate, and a wetter, warmer climate brings new challenges, more avalanches, flooding, rising sea level, and biological growth. These pictures are from Borgen Stave Church, where extensive work was done on the roof and belfry some years ago as part of the Stave Church restoration program. The program ran from 2002 to 2020, bringing all Norway's remaining 28 stave churches up to a good level of maintenance. Of course, now it goes on indefinitely. The maintenance never stops. At a modern building site, the craftsmen often have a definite but limited role to construct what has been determined and decided by experts like architects and civil engineers. The material to be used is usually delivered to them from the back of a truck. The job of the craftsman has often been to do what they're told without being asked for an opinion. But in addition to restoring the actual churches, the aim of the Stave Church restoration program was also to rediscover and disseminate local practical skills. The emphasis was on dialogue with the craftsman and balancing authenticity of material against authenticity of process. The program gave craftsmen central roles in all phases of the work, recognizing their status as experts in their field. They became building archaeologists, tracing tool marks and copying the original tools. They restructured the churches using much the same techniques, tools, and quality of materials in which they had been built centuries earlier. They were responsible for all the detailed condition assessments and documented the degrees and causes of the damage. They were also often directly involved in the selection of the materials for the individual projects and the preparation of the timber, sourcing and selecting what was needed in the forests. The lack of craftsmen is a growing concern for us, as young people are often more attracted to the faster money in the modern building trade. Training and passing on the expertise of older craftsmen to the younger generation has been neglected for many years, but was revived by the Stave Church Restoration Programme and has now increasingly become an integral part of all major restoration projects. There is also development in the field of craft education at the universities. There are bachelor programs training qualified craftsmen in building preservation. Practical craftsmanship is central in these programs, with a reflection on the active craft and stimulating research within the field by the craftsmen themselves, not from the outside looking in, as has been the norm. A master's program is currently being developed and the possibilities of PhDs also. But this is all material for a much longer presentation. What I want to share with you now is how Riksantikvaren also shares Norway's long expertise with wood conservation with an international audience. The international course on wood conservation technology, it's quite a mouthful. I'll call it the wood course for short. It's been held in Norway every other year since 1984. And the program was developed following recommendations made by UNESCO in 1982. The organization of the wood course is a joint venture between the Norwegian Directorate for Cultural Heritage, ICROM, and NTNU, that's the Norwegian University of Science and Technology, and it's one of ICROM's longest standing courses in material conservation. The course gives 20 mid-career professionals from all over the world the opportunity for further education within conservation of wooden cultural heritage. The participants are in general architects, engineers, conservators, and craftsmen, all working with wooden cultural heritage. And our aim is to spread knowledge, to encourage research, and to promote understanding of the conservation of wood. Our aim is too that the knowledge gained will be a valuable resource for the work of the individual participants when they return to their home countries. A key aim is also to bring people with various professions from different countries and cultures together for a mutual learning experience, drawing on different experiences, practices, and approaches to wood conservation. The success of the course has always depended on the interaction within the group of participants. 20 participants from up to 20 different countries take part in each course. And almost 400 participants from over 90 different countries have attended the course so far. But I must take the opportunity to say that the Caribbean region is underrepresented in this statistics, and we would love to have more applicants from your region. So please do keep an eye on ICROM's website and encourage relevant institutions and candidates to apply to the course. Over 6 weeks, the course program includes lectures, practical exercises, demonstrations, and excursions. And the curriculum includes conservation theory and principles, a reflection on current principles that underpin the conservation of wooden cultural heritage, wood properties, looking at the structure, physical and mechanical behavior of wood, wood identification and wood science. We look at climate and the environment, introducing basic tools and knowledge on how to monitor and address a changing climate through risk assessment and planning adaptation measures. We also look at wooden objects like furniture. We look at the construction methods of movable objects, including joints and why structural failure occurs. We look at surface treatment and climate barriers, studying doors, windows, and of course, paint and surface treatment, which are the barriers between outside and inside. We look at wooden built structures, how to understand historic wooden buildings and how to repair them, diagnosing common decay mechanisms and evaluating the performance of historic repairs. And the course concludes with an examination organized by the university, which gives 15 internationally recognized university credits. So building bridges between theory and practice, academia and craft are our core aims. In particular, as I said earlier, the special role that craftsmen play in conservation projects in Norway and the status of their practical knowledge. These are new and quite radical ideas to many participants and principles that we try to convey and share. As you all know and experienced, nobody was prepared for how long the pandemic would last, and planning a physical gathering became impossible. So in 2020, the course was cancelled, but we started the preparations of going online, and we have found that the course has offered a good alternative learning experience. We've used edX as an online platform, recreating lectures and pre-recording them and uploading exercises and assignments. We meet 3 times a week on Zoom for 1.5-hour sessions where we discuss the lectures and assignments. And participants also work in smaller groups and present their conclusions at the meetings. There are still only 20 participants, so a relatively small group, and we get to know each other and a good group dynamic is established. The curriculum is theoretical, but with practical exercises that the participants have to complete in their home environments before sharing with the others. So nobody will say that the online version can compete with the physical course, but it is a great alternative in these times when travel has become difficult. So the feedback is good, and we will most probably take some of this online experience with us when the next course will hopefully be held in Norway in 2024. So thank you very much for listening to me. And as I said earlier, we very much look forward to receiving lots of applications from the Caribbean region for the next course. And please don't hesitate to contact me if you have any questions. My email is there on the last slide. Thank you very much, everybody.